Welcome back, everyone, to our latest coffee break. It's myself, Ben Bicknell, and the amazing producer, Liam here.
Liam Conroy here. I'm stepping in for Ron, who's away for a bit.
Well, thanks for joining me, Liam. Keeping me company here. I feel
Always.
so alone sometimes.
Hey, man, I'm right there. I'm usually behind the scenes, but, I'm going to step in.
Got the cam and the mic going.
Yeah.
Because you also just listened in to our latest awesome podcast with Ninna from Reground, based here in Melbourne, and Dion, co-founder of Single Coffee Roasters up in Sydney.
Yes. What a combination of personalities
good,
coming
wasn't
together. Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
The B-roll of that one is spicy.
Stunning. Nah, I think what their initiative for giving a puck, Reground going up there is an exciting time. And I feel like us being involved with them is just a fun space to be in. There's some, huge names that are part of it. I was chatting to one of their team members and they were saying that Morgan Drinks Coffee Eckroth is involved with that as well.
Oh, awesome.
So, small world, big world of coffee,
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. The Give a Puck is the campaign name, and I feel like we mentioned it about 17 times before we actually explained it. So we'll see how the editing goes on that front. But it's a cool campaign name.
It's such a good hook.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. So Aussie as well.
Yeah, very Aussie, very Aussie. And so, I guess the episode, for folks who haven't listened to it, we were really trying to unpack like some of the ideas of sustainability and whether, we kind of all want to do it. I think, or a lot of people in the specialty industry want to be more responsible and more positive in their whole operation. But I think a lot of people don't really know how to even start. So it's kind of cool to unpack that a bit.
What I really enjoyed, my little quote, I think it was from Dion, because a lot of the time, a lot of people are talking about the be all and end all of gaining a certification is to be B Corp certified. People are like, we've put in the effort, now we're B Corp certified.
Yep.
And Dion's take was like, that's the beginning. That is the actual minimum.
Baseline.
That is the baseline.
Yep.
And it's like, yes, that is globally recognized as the certification that you're sustainable, but that is like the beginning. Like you've just earned it, but you got to live it.
Yeah.
I kind of was thinking, I almost threw it into the pod, but it's the way that Dion kind of lives and breathes it, very much a verb, much like love, less of, I love you. It's more like, show me, the actions behind it really speak kind of louder. Yeah.
It's super important, especially because it also reminded me of the conversation we had with Katie Cargulo from Counterculture about the idea of direct trade. It's like a term that's out there in our industry, but there's no central certifying body or clear definition of it. Like, yes, there is B Corp that references sustainability concepts, but at the same time, there's no like, you are a sustainable business stamp that is out there. And so there's a lot of fluffiness, a lot of people claiming it without living it and doing it. And I think, that was kind of something that really came away, is that you could see how clearly for a company like Single through Dion's kind of and the team's leadership there are just like, it's not a strategy. It's not a question. It's just like what we give a crap about. And like, we're going to keep doing this. And so walking that walk is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that was the most inspiring part of it and most transferable for any of our listeners that were on the global front. It was like, obviously we have these two very local based and, growing national companies now with Reground and Single. I guess Single, he was saying they're obviously an international company, big in Japan and everything. But the most transferable thing was that kind of mentality, I think, behind sustainability, that like everything from, Dion saying, the pucks on the tomato trees to, making your staff walk to work. And, it's like these things actually matter. And like, I think celebrating how we document that. Ninna said it's like if anyone that you trade with is a little hesitant how they are sustainable, ask them to be better,
Yeah, it's pretty interesting because I think it's a bit of a challenge, and there's a lot of pressure on coffee roasters and cafes at the moment with price worries about cost of operating and stuff. And often I think, to be more sustainable or to recycle or to use compostable materials or things like that, it's like, it's going to cost us so much more and we're already struggling with margins. But I think some of what I took away from this was like, you don't have to do big complex, expensive things, you can do just really basic stuff. Like instead of throwing your coffee grinds into a bin that goes to landfill, separate it, put it into a different bin and just try and make sure that makes its way to a community garden or a composting facility or like somewhere where it will be dealt with in a better way. And it's like, yes, there might be some costs around it, but you're probably offsetting it as well with like, I mean, I don't know if you've ever looked at this, but the amount of cost that you have to pay for regular bin pickup for like, you know, especially for roasteries, they'll have like skip bins, like the large dumpsters.
If you've ever moved house, you get like a skip or like one of those huge
things.
things.
That's hundreds of dollars.
Oh my God. It's the worst.
So you might not actually end up spending really that much more and the outcome is so much better.
Yeah. It's also that thing of like, it's a bit overwhelming. I understand that the topic is so, it's so big and is so passively there on so many things from like what we eat to just everywhere, from business models on the corporate side to like way things that are run, everything, that it's really nice to hear like a go-to thing is just ask for help.
Yep.
And connection, I guess, is the main part of that. Just like lean into the local, which, you know, I think speak for myself, we're doing that less and less, you know. You know, it's more of an online market and getting things shipped in. There's less like connection to the fact that there are options right around the corner. Or
I think there's groups in all kinds of different countries and regions where there's people who have got shared interests, right, in sustainable movements, and they're probably creating options or know what's out there. So let them know, ask your suppliers, say what else is out there, you know, lean on people.
That process really kind of resonated with me. I was kind of like wanting to shake. We had like, you know, we posed the questions. It was like to Ninna, it was like cafe specific. And then to Dion, it was like, hey, roaster specific. And I was like, how do you actually do it? Like you already have these cafes and these things there. How do you actually kind of like, it's like a hygiene thing, right? Like a sustainability hygiene almost thing. Like that point of like any of your suppliers, anyone that comes in or delivers anything to you, being like, why did you pack this with 5 boxes? And, you know, what are you guys doing with this? It would be really interesting to actually ask Ninna for tips on having those conversations. I think that's really hard because I know everyone's trying to do
a bit of friction.
It's a bit of friction and everyone's trying to do the best they can. And to a degree, like when you pay for like higher quality things, a lot of it is fluff, you know? You're paying for like an unboxing experience. You're paying for a nice label. You're paying for the nice things. And I guess how to have those conversations. It is I
think it's good. Yeah, you're right. It can be difficult to broach it. I figured like I was trying to think about what's the structure of this. So if you want to be more sustainable as a coffee business, I think it's almost like, okay, first step is become aware of the parts of your business that could be affected. So like I think Dion outlined like emissions, knowing your waste streams. So like where is stuff going to bins and being thrown out? What's your energy usage? And then I guess it's kind of like your practices, right? So like how are you treating your supply chain? How are you treating your staff?
Culture.
Yeah, the culture and kind of like, because the whole idea of sustainability is, can you keep doing this? Can you sustain what you want to do in the future?
Right,
And it's like, it's going to fall apart if we don't look after it. And so I guess like if you go, all right, write down, just like look at those different areas of your business and just like write down like, oh, okay, we get our food in this packaging. We get this number of food deliveries and it goes in the bin here. We've got a recycling and a hard waste kind of collection. We have this amount of coffee that goes through. Like you could probably like just start like mapping it. So at least you got visibility. And then I think it's just asking the questions about how it could be better. That was like a big thing that both Ninna and Dion kind of mentioned, right? Is just like not taking the status quo for granted.
100%. Yeah, shaking the tree constantly. I kind of wrote that down. It was like, let's switch out sustainability for innovation. Dion obviously was celebrated for just constantly kind of questioning how things were done, like the parachute. He talked about the design of those nylon in it. And he's like, we're the only people doing it. And we were like, this can be better. It's like, which is kind of a crazy thing. If you objectively look at that, you have a product that isn't here. It's already changing the game to a degree. Like you've already got a point of difference. and it's like in the market, it's already alone, and you're like, it could be better.
Yeah.
This needs to be better.
Yeah.
I guess that's it, right? That's the culture, the pillars of sustainability entrenched in all your decision making.
Yeah. It's like to be better at, I guess, those three areas of like people, profit, and planet, right? It's like not just accepting like, well, this is how it's always been done, so we'll just keep doing it. It's like kind of questioning and seeing if it can be done in a better way, which is essentially innovation, right? Like you're kind of trying to create a new solution that's better. Then it's not so much about that fluff. We talked about like sprinkling the sustainability dust on top versus baking it into like what you do. That if you just have that culture of going, well, we'll see like how are they roasting? Okay, well, what, could we do that in a better way, which would essentially mean that we're doing it more efficiently, more effectively, there's less waste, and then, or, okay, we're running a cafe. How do we get milk and different milks coming through our door to serve our customers in a better way? Oh, yeah, well, we can have way less packaging, or we could do bulk containers like they talked about the juggler, which is kind of like a milk dispense system out of bladders or kind of kegs you can get them out of as well. But I was thinking like Tetra Paks for alternative milks. I mean, goodness, you've got them packaged by the litre now in like foil lined things. It's like, how can that be better?
For sure.
So yeah, it was an interesting like philosophical bent, which I liked because it wasn't just saying, oh, here's another sustainability initiative. We're just trying to make things better. And it happens to mean that is more efficient, less waste.
I got one for you. It kind of got me thinking, like just on that tip, I think there's an opportunity for sustainability everywhere. Why do people avoid it? Or avoid it is because there's kind of hurdles you need to jump over clerically and to do it properly. Do you need to kind of be a little bit more fearless? Like even just his example of like, oh, we use the chaff to make a beer and like the kombucha. Obviously, like when you're talking about a product that you ingest, there's obviously, you got to be careful with these things. But that's what I mean. I guess that's where connection comes in. You lean on your community. Like, I want to be able to use this thing, but I want to do it safely.
Yeah.
I guess it leads into the whole collaboration piece as well.
Yeah, I think I do like what you're getting at there. I think there's something about innovation has risk, right? Because you could fail and you've spent money and you've done something and it didn't work. But if you're learning and you're in that creative space where you try something and you learn and you go, now I can see what more I've got. Like there is risk, and I think that stops people going in to it. So you got to be a little careful on that. But yeah, that's where I think maybe like leaning on other people who have done some of this and watching what they've done. Yeah, you can really kind of reduce that risk as well. Just by kind of learning what paths have already been trodden by people.
I won't put you on the spot straight away. I'll give you my take. I remember a moment working at a cafe and, the classic of we've only got a portafilter with the double spout. So if anyone came in and it was a bit of a quiet cafe that I was working at and they would ask for a single shot, there'd be a single shot, like a dead shot that we wouldn't let like drain, but we'd put on the side there. And usually we'd use it for like iced lattes or something like that. And the chef started being like, you know what? Don't waste it. That's such great coffee. Let me use that in a special in the kitchen. And so we started using these like dead espresso shots for like a mascarpone mix-in. Was delicious. Like espresso, right. It was delicious, whipped, everything. But I remember thinking and like having this like pride, that dynamic, and it just made sense. Similar to the bins, just like it just made sense. Oh, we just made that choice. And at the end of the day, it was like cleanup was easier. There wasn't these tiny little, baby chino cups that have like stains on them everywhere. And anyway, my question to you is, do you have any like moments or tips? We kind of put it to Ninna, we put it to Dion and got some hilarious responses from them. Dion's such character. But do you have any tips?
For how a company might be a bit more sustainable?
Yeah. And like the little ways, little tips like to start or...
It's a good question.
Any that resonated with you, like coming up through kind of the coffee world?
Yeah, I think, to be more sustainable, I don't know if I've got any like straight, clear tips that we haven't talked on. I think it's kind of that idea of understanding your input and your output. So like the materials coming in and the waste going out. I think just like thinking about that and listing it. I remember I was working on a project that was looking at starting up like a new cafe space, and the goal was to try and have something super sustainable and low waste kind of impact. And so when you set yourself that vision, that you're then asking the questions, okay, like what are the inputs that will be problematic to that vision? And it was just things like, food suppliers or bread suppliers that would provide everything in like plastic wrapped everything.
Yep.
Right. And so you're like, well, we don't want the plastic. That's just going to be wastage and it's difficult. It's either soft plastics but probably not. A lot of wrapping is not soft plastics. So it's not even potentially recyclable. So you're like, okay, that's a problem. How do we find an alternative? And just asking the suppliers, that was the thing. It's just like, okay, that's a problem. Well, the first thing is ask them what other options they have. And I think that's the same, putting that upward pressure on your suppliers and then taking responsibility for where the outward stuff goes. I think that's kind of, I don't know, it's not a very concrete tip, but I think just asking your suppliers, are there better options? Yeah. I think that's kind of probably a great place to just start, because even if they don't have an answer, the more people asking them that, the more, I guess the more obvious and explicit it's going to be that there is market demand. And so they'll start coming up with solutions. They're like, oh, it's the 20th time I've been asked that this month. And now innovation, But it also reduces the risk because they know that there's a proven market for it. So,
for sure.
Anyway, I thought it was great to do. We obviously need more episodes on sustainability because it's such a big, complex topic. But
even that, like you're talking about the soft plastics, it's happened so passively because I think it's on a big scale. But plastic bags leaving the supermarkets came up, and it was like, that's such a case study in itself for sustainability. Like it just happened. And people were like, oh, and it just fully dissipated, and now it is normal.
That's it.
It is literally your only options are paper bags. Are we behind?
Yeah.
Like globally?
Well, it depends where you're talking about internationally. But like in the US, in a lot of shops, you would get like everything bagged up in paper as a default. And here you still have to buy the paper bag.
Yeah.
It's only like whatever, 20 cents it is, or bring your own bags. But I think that, it's that funny thing of like push, pull, or do you wait for policy? And that's where I think we were saying, don't just wait to be handed it. Don't wait for something to dictate and say, you must do this, or it's like, find an alternative now.
I think we need to celebrate that more.
Yeah.
Because they are fun. I don't know if anyone listening, it was like, oh my God, I can use those dead shots and put them in the mask pony and all those things.
Yeah.
Like literally just that conversation. It's like celebrating that. Kind of a thread of the conversation today was concept of, when you get the coffee and then once the coffee's made, it's out of mind.
Yep.
And it's like, no, you need to extend that fully through to the concept of regeneration and like, what do you do with that? It doesn't lose quality. Mm-hmm. It's still like such
has value.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. The stats that they were throwing out, like Ninna talking about the emissions. How much more potent was it than car emissions?
It was something like 3 times as much. Like the methane that was emitted by coffee grinds going to landfill, or organic matter, I think was the overarching thing. But organic matter, including coffee grinds going to landfill, emitted methane that was, I think it was 3 times as
crazy,
as kind of detrimental to the environment as the emissions coming out of cars.
That's
just nuts.
An insane stat. And then them being like, no, but then we'll take them and put them into gardens. It's like it gets processed and gives life because it's energized material,
And that other stat that kind of paired with that was that like 30% of I think it was 30% of a coffee roaster's emissions were from the grounds that were used in that way out of their kind of production cycle. So obviously it's going out to cafes and being used in that way, and assuming it went to landfill, 30% of a whole coffee roaster's emissions are from those coffee grinds. And that's talking with a coffee roaster that's probably using this huge gas burner flame to roast the coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think, the impact is bigger than we maybe are aware of, like some of those numbers. And the solution is way easier for like this big chunk of work we can do. Just deal with the coffee grinds in a better way, get it into composting or community gardens, and suddenly you're making this massive difference.
Yeah.
And I think Ninna made that point as well, is like, concentrate on the stuff that you actually have direct control over.
Yeah.
Don't spend all your time or like amp up about the things that maybe are more difficult for you to change, like cup providers, or like, the fact that your landlord doesn't let you put solar panels on your roof. It's like, okay, you can't do anything with that. Yeah. What can you change? Yeah, it was cool. It was
doesn't
exciting.
need to be friction-full.
Yes.
It doesn't need to have friction. It's
that's a great way of putting it. Doesn't need to be friction-full.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Well, yeah, it was a great conversation. If you haven't listened to the episode, definitely get on that and have a good listen. There was some gold bits of wisdom in there, and hopefully inspires you to kind of get more involved in your own community. Yes. My goodness, I think I hear a little bit of info coming in. Would that maybe be our field reporter, Ollie from Condesa? Let's go check out what he's got to say.
Hey gents, great to hear from you. And today is Wednesday the 29th of October. We find the market has dropped from last week's highs, and we're now at 387.90. This is a significant drop from last week, but the market seems to be trading sideways, bouncing from the low of 380 to the high of last week of 420. Macroeconomics and market fundamentals seem to be acting as an equal and opposite force to keep it in this band. Firstly, you've got ICE certified stocks. Bag numbers are at 447,000 bags, and this is of course being caused by the tariffs from Brazil into the US. We're also seeing weak US GDP data, possible basis point cut, could be as much as 25 basis points, which is expected to weaken the US dollar and support the coffee market prices. On the other hand, acting as an opposite force to this, possibly pushing the market down, is improved weather in Brazil, with further good rains expected throughout the week, plus the fact that US-China tensions have reduced. On top of this, the US Senate has just voted to approve a measure that would terminate Donald Trump's tariffs. This legislation, however, still has to go through the House of Representatives, where it will likely stall. What it does do, though, is increase pressure for the tariffs to be lifted, which could see the market come off a bit. What happens for the rest of the week will depend on the US Fed rate cuts, GDP data, and there is still a possibility we see a rebound to higher prices later in the week. As always, use these dips, take risk off the table, and after all, if we want to remain sustainable, we've got to keep roasting. That's it from me, guys. All the best and regards. And of course, it's just coffee.
Wow. Ollie, every week you never leave us hanging. Amazing.
So much information and such dulcet tones. I feel like he could be a radio reporter.
Truly. It
was great.
So amazing.
Thanks for hooking us up with all the insights, Ollie. I've got a few little snippets of news to share with you, Liam, that I came across that were fun. Let's check it out. Oof. Inspiring moment. Well, these are a couple of little reports that I read that were interesting. Some are going to have longer impact than others. There was a report coming out of Colombia that this is the best coffee harvest. So 2024, 2025 is the best coffee harvest that it has had in more than 3 decades. So that massive production volume.
Is flipping the script on so much of the narrative that we hear.
It is, isn't it? It's kind of like counterintuitive to like our conversations with World Coffee Research about declining stuff.
With Reground, and it's like obviously climate and everything is like we need to make changes because there's a little bit of impending doom there, like inevitability. We need to help. So to hear that, that's so good. I love that.
It's a good thing.
Hope core.
Some hope core.
Yeah.
Well, we'll take a moment of it, but I don't want to put all your eggs in the one basket because it's the largest coffee harvest in more than 3 decades. It's had great weather conditions this year. And so they've got up to 14.87 million 60 kilo sacks of coffee coming out of Colombia. And that's a 17% year-on-year increase.
Wow.
How crazy is that?
Insane.
Bumper crop. And they actually only estimated 14 million. So like a huge.
So what did you say? Bumper crop?
Bumper crop. Have you never heard that before?
Bumper crop. I'm going to absolutely
You can use it now. It's just when Dion's tomato trees, not plants, but his trees are just like flush with fruit, it's a bumper crop of tomatoes.
Good to know.
But the interesting thing is they're already looking at the 25-26 harvest and they've had poor rain conditions, and they're actually anticipating only, I think it's something around 12.5 million bags. So from 14.87 this year, which is a huge year, but they're only predicting 14, but it's going to be back down next year to 12.5 or something like that million is what they're predicting. Yeah. So major difference. I mean, the big thing is that hopefully great this year, there'll be the celebration of having like a lot of good quality Colombian coffees that are available. Who knows, that might kind of affect the pricing. We probably just had some insights from Ollie, but the pricing there on availability of Colombian coffees might be a little bit sharper because there'll be a good supply. But then next year, it's kind of the heads up that they're already predicting low quantities. And the problem is, I think, is that speculators on the commodity market keep an eye on that and go, there's going to be a drop in supply, demand's going up, I'm going to speculate an increase, and it's all just going to shift. So green prices next harvest could be problematic again.
I think that also kind of allows us to celebrate it while we've got it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like while we've got it, kind of truly take it in, knowing that it's a moment. It's not like, yeah.
And I think that like if you're a coffee roaster and you're buying Colombian coffee, it's cool to go in, prices might go down, right, with this supply. Prices might drop a little bit, but just think about like a long-term kind of solution here. Like, sure, you might be able to save a few bucks in paying lower prices while the market's there. But what happens next year? What tone are you setting with your supplier this year that's going to come back and maybe bite you next year when the prices skyrocket? Are they going to be like, oh, thanks for looking after us last year? Or like, wow, you really just paid us market bottom prices there, didn't you? So have a think about it and look after those coffee producers because the prices are going to be going all over the place. If you want reliability, got to be on the same team. Okay, so here's my next news item.
Yep.
This is a kind of a humorous one, I think, but a Hawaiian woman has been indicted, a 66-year-old Hawaiian woman has been indicted after apparently selling millions of dollars of coffee, but selling it as Hawaiian 100% Kona coffee at a premium when in fact it was not.
Naughty.
It's very naughty, but it's kind of a weird thing. This apparently happened between 2012 and 2024. And, you know, this idea of like selling Hawaiian Kona is this like premium coffee. It's like the old school version of like a Panama geisha, right? So it's like
there's so little.
There's so little of it. You know, like 15 years ago, Hawaiian Kona was thought that and Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee were like the super premium like coffees.
What do they taste like?
They're okay. I mean, there's good like Hawaiian Kona coffee out there and there's good Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee out there, but they were like old school kind of labels coming out of the second wave almost, but did really well from a brand point of view. So probably not so much in the cup these days if you're a specialty coffee fan, that you can get great coffees out of them, but sometimes the brand idea of them has pushed it up. And so this woman has been selling this coffee that is not genuine, and she's being arrested for passing off. It's like if you know, we just kind of got a little bit of, oh, there's some Australian grown coffee, and it's like, no, this is a Panama geisha, you know, delicious. Let's sell it for hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So it's kind of fascinating. I reckon it's going to happen more.
I was going to say that, and I'm surprised it doesn't happen more. Or if it, I mean, because also like in producing regions, like borders and certain places are doing better than others, but they're so close.
Yeah.
And also demand.
Yep.
Demand and what you're saying, branding. It's like
it's an interesting thing. I mean, it happens more frequently than I think people know, because there's obviously slightly permeable borders in a lot of the producing countries, and someone will just take a little bit of green coffee over the border into either another country or another region that's like super highly, you know, it has a premium on it. And suddenly, you know, I think the classic case is Guatemala and Antigua. So Antigua is like one of the main producing regions, and it's got this great kind of acknowledgement of like delicious, you know, red fruits and chocolate and really high quality coffee. But there is way more Guatemala and Antigua sold in the world than there is ever the ability for it to produce.
Interesting.
Right. And so it's a case of like, well, some neighbors are like, that's getting the premium stuff. I'm going to label that.
Yeah. I think we chatted about that with Hannah from World Coffee Research.
Yes.
how they tested the genomic patterning and species of like geishas.
Yeah.
And they were off and were like,
was this deliberate?
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that there's going to be more of that, and probably more as people are chasing particular coffees. There is more technology as well that allows people to do quick testing of the raw product and have those sequenced kind of profiles to go, yes, this is from that region.
We're going to get to the point where we've got kind of like a little gun, like a diamond checker.
Oh yeah,
where you just go into like one of the beans and you just go and be like, oh yeah, that's 100% geisha. That's a specific this, that.
Just see someone in the back of some seedy warehouse just stabbing and just like chewing down on it. Yeah. I guarantee that's a good one. 100% Kona right there. That's the good stuff.
Yeah.
But they're my 2 little bits of news for you, Liam.
I love it.
Yep.
Funny.
Well, I think that's it for our coffee break. Thanks everyone for dialing in. If you haven't listened to the episode with Dion and Ninna around sustainability and waste stream, then get on that, have a listen, and keep your ears open for some great new upcoming episodes. We've got some cracking guests coming on over the coming weeks. Very exciting to have recorded some stuff at World Barista Championships at Host as well. So some of those are starting to be pop out on the feed. And please share subscribe, tell us what you want us to feature on the podcast, whether it be guests or new topics. Drop Liam a line. He'll love to hear from you.
Yeah, please do. The back ends have been doing really well. It's really exciting to see the support and the community growing kind of on all platforms. It's a beautiful thing. I'm really proud of it. So, keep me proud.
Keep him proud.
Keep me proud and
he's working
support
hard.
us, I love it. And
Thanks again for everyone for dialing in, and we'll see you in the next episode. Cheers.
Don't go anywhere. We're going to have a quick word from one of our sponsors, Apex Lab. Elevate your coffee experience with Apex Lab mineral concentrates. Apex Lab's precision-engineered formulas, including tonic, jam, and lilac, are designed to enhance the coffee's natural flavors. Not going to change it, it's just going to enhance it. It's going to bring out the vibrant acidity, the rich sweetness, or if you use lilac, it might bring out those delicate floral notes that you've been looking for. Trusted by world-class cafes and even barista champions, Apex Lab helps you unlock your coffee's full potential. Discover more at apexlab.com. Wait, where was that again, Sonam?
The internet.
Oh, okay. Thought he was going to say the website. Thanks.